Welcome to Paris in the dark, city of lights, though there are less lights now. We are alone on this journey to discover scary tales of the past. Join me as I roam Paris after dark in search of the truths behind the folklore that covers the surface of the Parisian streets. We will begin our night by strolling through Père Lachaise Cemetery because it closes every day at 5 p.m. It's the final resting place of the dead. Here is the largest cemetery in Paris and the final resting place of many people. It is one of the most haunted places in Paris. Ghosts reside here. Visitors report disembodied voices, spectral lights, and translucent figures roaming around the cemetery. A lot of famous people, iconic individuals from various fields are buried here. This is their final resting place. Some of the most notable figures are buried here, including Jim Morrison, the lead singer of The Doors, who used to live in my area, Venice Beach, California, Oscar Wilde, the playwright, and even the Polish composer of Chopin, and a lot of other French people I don't know. And it is also home to a lot of crows. You could probably hear them as they follow us through the cemetery. I'm gonna go try find Chopin. I now know where all the French restaurants get their snails for their famous escargot dish. Don't mind me, I'm just being a little facetious. Chopin, famous for his piano solos. We've all heard his music, I promise. I do feel like this bust doesn't really look like him. Here's a really nice picture. Victor Noir's tomb, a very popular site because of the legend that rubbing it will provide fertility benefits to women who want to have children.
I did. I kissed it too. Oh my god. Okay.
You can see the parts that have been, let's just say, touched. I wonder if he was this popular with the ladies in real life. Now I have come to pay my respects to Oscar Wilde, a wild man who was a famous playwright. After his third play, he was thrown into jail. Wilde's tragedy stems from his love affair with a man. You can tell these graves haven't been visited for a long time. Have I been here before? God, I've gotten myself lost. Where the heck is Jim Morrison? I knew I took a wrong turn. Ah, here he is. The Lizard King. His voice was so unique and raw. People loved this guy. He died too young at the age of 27, joining the 27 Club. He died in his own bathtub in Paris in 1971. Many visitors come to pay their respects, leaving gifts, and I even see a candle lit. Okay, I've had enough of this overgrown cemetery. Time to explore other haunts. The Bastille. Legend has it the man in the iron mask is one of the most enduring mysteries of France, with connections to Paris. The masked prisoner, whose identity was hidden, he was held at the Bastille alongside other prisoners during the reign of Louis XIV, though the prisoner's real identity remains speculated. Some say he was the king's twin brother. The legend gained widespread fame due to Voltaire. It was an intriguing story and has been kept alive in pop culture. Though let's not forget about the fall of the Bastille, a catalyst for the French Revolution. This was a site of a bloody scene. A lot of lives were lost right here. I think Paris is more haunted than Rome. Here we stand at one of the most famous Paris opera houses in the world, where the Phantom of the Opera was inspired. And the story was inspired here at the Grand Opera House in Paris. According to the legend, a disfigured man lived underground a lake beneath the opera house, haunting performers and manipulating events from the shadows. While the story largely is fictional, the underground lake beneath the opera house actually exists and adds a layer of eerie, authentic legend. It was discovered during the construction, which was dramatized in the story. The real-life incident of the chandelier falling in 1896 during a performance actually killed a woman and injured many. This happened, actually. And there was also a disfigured pianist who played the piano here. During the construction of the opera house, it's steeped in mystery, and even including skeletons beneath this building. I grew up watching Phantom of the Opera, and it's just so cool to stand outside of the opera house that it was inspired by. We're here under the cover of darkness to talk about vampires. There have been many names throughout French history that have been accused of vampirism. At the top of the list is Gilles de Rais from 1404 to 1440. He was generally thought to have fought Joan of Arc and was known to be a sadistic murderer and one with active practices of Satanism. His body was burned and executed, basically. There's mysterious happenings in the 19th century. The most infamous case was Vincent de Paul, known as the Vampire of Paris. In 1849, bodies began disappearing from cemeteries across the city, and de Paul was caught and discovered that he had been exhuming corpses and draining them of their blood for his experiments. And Paul, actually, literally a vampire, this gruesome nature of crimes earned him the title, and the legend endures in the dark corners of the Parisian folklore. I'm standing above the Seine right now. Paris is starting to move about a little bit. It's 4 a.m., but We still have moonlight. Look up. Behind me stands Hotel de Ville, or Hôtel de Ville, as the French say. It's the historical city hall of Paris, and Saint Germain had been seen here. He had contributed many different things. He was very much involved with French royalty at Versailles and politics. His name and origins are really unknown. He is said to have been almost 500 to 1,000 years old, leading great historical figures. Knowing Voltaire, he would call him the Wonder Man, saying that he is the man who does not die, and even he knew Casanova, who wrote about him. He had several positions in his career throughout his life, including appearing at French court around 1748 and being employed by Louis XV for diplomatic missions. Maybe a spy, who knows? Anyway, he had many achievements: science, alchemy, philosophy, and what's most particular about Count Saint-Germain was that he claimed to meet and have sightings throughout 19th and 20th centuries, with many people calling him a supernatural being. Was he a time travel, or was he a vampire? We will never know. Anyway, the Hôtel de Ville, he is said to have worked there on many diplomatic matters. And so it's just crazy to see the same building that he would have seen or had gone to. Nicholas Flamel, a 14th century Parisian scribe and bookseller, is one of the most famous figures in Parisian legend. He's believed to have discovered the secrets of the Philosopher's Stone, which grants immortality and the ability to turn base metals into gold. Flamel's house stands behind me at 51 Rue de Montry. I'm probably saying that wrong, making it one of the oldest stone houses in the city. Though there is no historical evidence proving that Flamel's alchemic abilities, his legacy still lives on through the J.K. Rowling Harry Potter series. I will say it is quite creepy standing here. During the day and night, this place is a bar. You can tell it's quite old because of the etchings in the wall. And it's quite creepy. As we first got here, Hugh turned on the camera to do some B-roll, and the camera malfunctioned as soon as we started to record. So I feel as if this building has a lot of history, and it looks cool. I mean, look at the inscription here. I wonder what it says. I bet you can't guess what happened on this site. This is the place where King Louis XVI was beheaded. And so was Marie Antoinette, right here. Somewhere around here. They used the guillotine during the French Revolution and beheaded the royalty. They no longer wanted a king or queen to tell them what to do. And this is the place where they decided to execute the royalty. The only person from the royal family who came unscathed through this tragic time period was Marie Antoinette's first daughter, who later became the Duchess of Angoulême. Well, she married the Duke of Angoulême. Anyway, it's a cold morning in Paris, and I stand here as I remember, or keep in my thoughts, Marie Antoinette and her husband Louis XVI. With this backdrop of this really beautiful fountain. The Devil's Door of Notre Dame. Notre Dame Cathedral has long been associated with myths and legends, but one of the most famous tales is the Devil's Door. In 13th century, a young blacksmith was commissioned to create an elaborate iron work on the cathedral doors. The task was so intricate it seemed impossible for him to complete alone. According to the legend, he made a pact with the devil, asking for his help in exchange for his soul. The door was miraculously finished, but it could not be opened until blessed by holy water. Legends of Paris weave a rich tapestry of mystery and romance and intrigue, adding an otherworldly layer to the city's already vibrant history, from the haunted halls of Notre Dame to the eerie depths of the catacombs. These tales remind us that Paris is not just a city of lights, but also one of shadows. These stories of love, tragedy, and supernatural, whether rooted in historical events or pure folklore, capture in the imagination and reflect the city's enduring ability to inspire both wonder and awe. Through its legends, Paris continues to live in the realms of mystery as much as in reality. I'll leave you with one final tale, and it's of the Sacré-Cœur Basilica, dedicated to the martyrdom of Saint Denis. According to legend, Denis was beheaded on this hill in the 3rd century AD. After being decapitated, he is said to have picked up his head and walked several miles preaching as he went until he finally collapsed and died. Today, a statue of Saint Denis can be seen outside the basilica where he is buried. Even though Paris is steeped in tragedy and bloodshed, the sun, le soleil, continues to rise and shine its beautiful light on the Parisian landscape. Today is a new day.